All right, and we are recording. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the CEO Chick Chat. Super excited. Mondays at noon, we go live with our tribe on a regular basis. And every third and fourth Monday, we actually share it with the world. We go public on Facebook and we just share some of our conversations so that other women can see, just a little bit more, hear a little bit more about the network and what we have going on and the amazing guests that we have featured on a regular basis. They come with knowledge from their area of expertise and just really share their experience with us, share some of their hacks with us, their life hacks, for lack of a better word, and just dive in and help us get closer to our goals. Our mantra at CEO Chicks is to collaborate, create, and dominate. That's what it's all about. It's about being able to sit with another woman just like yourself that might have exceeded, gone beyond where you are, someone you can learn from, someone you can pour back into as well. We have so many different women that participate in our meetings, and we are literally still riding the wave from Dominate 2019. It was absolutely incredible. And so, just before Dominate even happened, I had a chance to get on a call with Lucinda, and I was a guest with her tribe, her Activate tribe, and we were just talking about brand to bucks and talking about business and talking about the struggles and the stress that comes from being an entrepreneur and what it takes to truly be a boss. And so I really enjoyed my time with her. I said, okay, now it's your turn. Girl, as soon as I get done with Dominate, I need you to come on and join me on our live and just talk about this book tour, talk about the big ask, talk about developing your tribe and just all those things, that come along with being an entrepreneur and a mommy and a wife and all that good stuff. So we're going to dive right in. So please, drum roll, help me welcome, hand clap, all that good stuff. I don't have a sound machine, but I'm so excited to have with us the amazing Lucinda Cross. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you for being on, and just share with our audience just who you are.
Yes, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have I'm a mom of 3 plus a bonus. I'm a wife of 1 and no pets. And so, just a busy lifestyle. I would say a serial entrepreneur, but I'm just someone who has stepping it fully into her purpose. I operate a for-profit called Activate Your Life, and then for-profit called Activate Worldwide, and a nonprofit called Activate Your Life. And I'm here just to support, and I love your Dominate because I'm Activate. So, we have that. So I'm all about activating women, entrepreneurs, visionaries with their stories. And I work with those who are considered the best kept secret and helping them come out and no longer be a secret, but be that household name.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool. We are like so similar. We're in a similar vein, and I think a lot of times my post this morning was, listen, I'm not here to compete. I want us all to eat.
And come on now.
That was one of the topics that we discussed as far as collaboration. We talked about privately, you and I, just how important it is for women to see how they can complement each other, even in that same space, even in how we could just really, really make a difference when we figure out how we can come in and complement one another and just honor that. So let me ask you a question. How long have you been in entrepreneurship? Do you feel like it chose you, or you felt like you chose it?
Entrepreneurship chose me. I truly believe, even our dreams, we don't choose our dreams choose us. And that's an honor. That's just my own belief. But I've been an entrepreneur since 2006, full-time entrepreneur. Before that, I was a side hustler. And before that, I just had a great hobby that I wasn't getting paid for, but I was good at it. And so I've been a full-time entrepreneur, getting compensated and building this business since 2006.
Oh my goodness. And so one of the things, people look at you and they follow you. For those of you that are on here, I've been following Lucinda for some time now, and she's such an inspiration. And your story is very, unfortunately, in some parts of the world, common, right? But in a lot of aspects, it's not. So can you share a little bit about your background and just some of the things you've had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Absolutely. So I'll go from, I'll just go pivotal moments that I had to experience to help me get to where I'm at today. One is overcoming being a single mother, living this entrepreneurial dream. At that time, there was a time where I had to deal with that. Two, going to work every day, extremely frustrated with where I was at, and now changing my character from being this happy-go-lucky type of person to now being this angry Black woman. Then going further back to now this young girl who is the oldest of three brothers and also has to play as the mom because my mother was going to school, and she was, although she was married, it was still, the household was operated like a single parent household. And so born and raised in New York City housing, which is the projects, the housing authority. So that, but that was a community setting back then. It wasn't considered like, oh, you're poor, it's poverty. We were a full community, and my upbringing there, no complaints. Now, backtrack to that, 4.5 years in federal prison, going to college, making a wrong decision, thinking I know everything, and trying to speed up my process to success, trying not to be highly educated and poor at the same time. So I said, let me take on this opportunity to go travel to these third world countries and bring some money back so that I can change my family, my finances, and have the things that I've seen my other college peers have. And so, ironically, I was going to school to be an entertainment lawyer, not realizing that I would need a lawyer myself for that 4.5 years that I needed that journey that I was going to embark on. And so that's just like a backtrack to go back. And so here we are today, moving forward. Happily married, and overcame those obstacles, and now supporting that same community that I once was a part of, but also just pushing other women to say there is no excuse. You have absolutely no excuse to go after what you want, when the prisons, to me, is one of the prisons, and the graveyard is one of the wealthiest places that we have here on earth. And so as long as we have breath in our body and the opportunity to have free will, there should be no excuse not to do what you're called to do.
Wow. Talk about, just coming out of that, how you were able to just say, you know what, I got to do this. I meet women that have gone through some really, really tough times. It's been like super rough, the journey that they've had. And yes, they have this dream. Yes, they want to go after it. They're ready to do it, but their confidence has been, so hurt, or there's fear. What were some of the things that you had to do literally off the heels of prison to say, I'm going forward, I'm going to launch? Do you feel like it was out of necessity, or was it just, it was intentional?
It was intentional because when coming home, I was dealing with so many stigmas. Society already counts you out, so you become what I call the invisible woman, the woman that they don't want to see, they don't really want to recognize, because you've already, tainted your name. And so I went from, as soon as I came home, the first thing for me was to go back to college and get my degree. I wanted to get educated. I wanted to change my name from that number. The next thing that I did was when I got a solid job, something that I can kind of build and grow in. And I was promoted a couple of times in that position, from assistant to public relations to now risk management and performance improvement. But the entrepreneurial spirit was pulling on me and tugging on me, because it was always something I dabbled in, even when I was in school and even when I was in the projects. I was the one like, listen, I could make Barbie doll clothes and sell them for other people who don't have clothes for their Barbie dolls, so it was always that entrepreneurial spirit. Although I didn't see it in my household. My household was very creative. My mother was a psychology major, double major in psychology. So we were her guinea pigs. So everything was creative visualization. And so while inside, I created that vision board process before it became wildly successful to what I see now. That's something I was creating on a compound with other women who didn't know, where do you write your dreams and goals? What should that look like? So I took that same journal with me when I came home, and I said, what are the list of my priorities? Entrepreneurship came out of a necessity because I was frustrated with the paycheck. I was frustrated with my time. I was frustrated with feeling like I was being used and not compensated for my worth. And I said, if I'm going to school, I don't want this just to be a good receipt and I don't do anything with this degree, or I'm just sitting here complaining every day. The most discouraging thing, I'll tell you, when I came home was to see women voluntarily locking themselves up. They hate their relationship, but they're going back home to it. They hate their job, but they're waking up every morning to give them 8 hours a day. I just didn't understand it. And so I said, every day you are locking yourself up, complaining and whining about things that you don't want to do because of fear, because of excuses. Those excuses got expired at some point. And so for me, it was hard to see mentorship, women speaking their truth and standing in their power. It was more so of, well, I'm not going to give you this resource because I'm fearful that you may do what you need to do with it to be successful. And so I had to deal with that. So I said, you know what? Let me get settled, and I'm going to flip the whole script on this. What I know, you have. What I have, you have. And if you're not ready for it, we got to move on, right? And so if you still want to wallow in your fears and what has happened in the past, we all can do that. I came from a place where everyone had a story. And if we're not able to use that story, and that's something I made my mind up inside. I said, because when I come out, everything is against me. It's literally me against the world. Can you get a bank account? No, because you don't have the proper identification. Can you get a job? No, because you got to fill in this little box that says that you did something wrong, and they and now they want to judge you. So it was a lot. It was a lot that I had to deal with mentally. But I said, entrepreneurship was that next thing. I needed to be my own boss. I really needed to be my own boss. I needed to control my time, my skills, my talents, and my abilities, and what I was pulling in.
Yeah. What was your first step? Do you remember? Like, what was the first thing that you did when you said, okay, I quit? Right? Because you had the job. You did.
Right.
You went in, were promoted. When did you know it was time to transition into full-time entrepreneurship after?
I talked to my mentor, and he said, you won't be able to do this thing full-time if you're not charging. I understand that you are passionate. And so either you can be passionately poor or passionately profitable. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. So he said, you need to figure out a plan on how you're going to make an exit strategy. And now at this time I had small children, two small children. I have 3 plus my bonus now. But by now I have my 2 small children. He said, you have to be able to make your income, your salary. Show me how you can make your salary. Then write your letter of resignation. What's the plan to make your salary in less time? And I said, wow. So that meant I had to take my introverted self out to start networking, to start asking, to start charging and not discounting. And that helped me to put together a plan and say, and I said, this day I am leaving. This is the date I'm leaving. And I need to make sure that I have this amount of savings put up and that I'll have my clients and I'm ready to work. My thing wasn't so much about the business plan. It was about the financial plan. And that's what I needed to create for myself. What is the financial plan going to look like? Are you making money with it now? Not what you're going to do later and 3 months. No, how are you going to make some money right now with what you know? And that, when I did that,
game changer. That's a game changer right there.
And I wrote my letter of resignation and I said, I'm out of here. But the thing is, I started even shifting how I thought about my job. I said, you are my sponsor. You're going to sponsor my business cards. You're going to sponsor my website. You're going to sponsor my conference fees that I need to go to. So when I get paid every 2 weeks, I know I want to go to this conference coming up. I know I want to go to Black Enterprise. I know I want to do this. I know. So every paycheck, I said, I'm going to start taking something from it and building. I need a printer for home because I was using the Jobs printer. I was using the Jobs fax, their phone. I was getting an attitude when they was messing with me, like, you're not taking lunch? Yeah, I'm on lunch right now. And I'm handling business on my lunch break with my office door closed. But I mean, I was coming in 2 hours late and that already told me, listen, girl, you need to get out of here. You showing up 2 hours late and you don't even care. You getting your hair done on your lunch break so you could go to a workshop afterwards. It's time to go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So once you did that, you wrote down this plan.
Yes.
And you started to map it out. Did you after it happened and you're now in it full time, did it pick up? Did you have some time where you were like, ooh, this ain't working, this ain't looking right? How did you handle that? How did you handle that spot? Because that's that area where we're like, okay, now we got the plan. I listened to my coach. I listened to my mentor.
Right.
And then now you take the leap and you like, yo, this parachute do not look like it's going to open. Like I'm about to hit my face and jack it all up.
Yes.
You know?
So, and that's exactly, I was like, whoa, what is happening here? Because there was a level of success because I was already doing it as a side hustle on my job, right? I didn't wait for that. And then, so now when I'm leaving, I'm like, I have all the time to get the clients, the meetings. And then it was just like, hold up, no emails, no phone calls, clients are not paying. What is happening? Did I make a wrong decision? And in that space, that's when I really learned how to maximize marketing. So one, I had the business, but now I needed to make my marketing work. So yeah, I had the plan, the financial plan. I had a few clients that I was working with, but was I marketing, unconventional marketing? And I said, all right, I need to hit the streets. And I had to go, I'm from New York. And I'm from the hustle world. So I had to go into hustle mentality. Listen, go to the libraries, put stuff on the library calendar, go into supermarkets, put stuff on the supermarket thing, let people know that you're here to work. And, but there was that time where it went down. There was times where my car got towed. There was times where I couldn't pay my light bill. There was times where I'm ducking the daycare lady because the kids was in private school. There was times where I had opportunities with clients who was willing to pay, but I done dumbed them down to a certain point so that I could just get some money. There's times that I was working with clients that I didn't even want to work with just so I could pay bills. So it went from me being this entrepreneur to entrepreneur, and now I'm just getting clients just to cover bills. And that was the worst experience because now I'm working like double hours in a day in the hopes that I get a yes. And so my confidence level went down. I started questioning my own skill set. So I was a virtual marketing assistant when I first came out. I was behind the scenes. I was writing keynote presentations for people. I was doing marketing plans for people, but I needed to become my own client. And that's what I didn't do. And when I became my own client, I said, all right, Lucinda, what would you tell yourself if you was your own client? And I started breaking it down and I said, man, I'm leaving money on the table. I'm stepping over dollars to get coins, and I'm trading in my time for dollars. I don't never want to be in this position again. And I have this saying. I say, there's a fortune in your frustration. And I said, there has to be some other entrepreneurs who are great at what they do, but they're behind the scenes struggling. They're like the starving artists. But they could make the best Picasso. So I needed to just shift that completely. But that time, in order for me to get out, there's a time I even had to shut down my business and say, all right, shut up, shut down, nothing. We need to get this thing together. We have to stop listening, because what would happen is I would listen to my coach, but then I'm having conversations with people who never had a business before. And then they want to give me business advice based on what my coach gave me. Now I'm not doing the work that I needed to do that my coach gave me, but I'm blaming it on her when it was really, I'm getting bad advice from people who's not even doing nothing with their life. They never even built anything for their business. And so, some of them didn't even have a business period. They're like, really? That's what she said. That's the long route. Well, you sure you should do that? And so I was listening to non-visionaries about my vision, non-believers about my belief, and it didn't work. And once I got everybody out my ear, and I said, all right, you know what you know, start working, change the plan up, shut down, get this thing together, come back stronger than ever. And when I did that, Activate was born.
Oh my goodness. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible, because I feel like we all are faced with those certain temptations. And one of the biggest things you said, I was passing up dollars for coins, like literally not realizing that when you get into this hustle mode, that everything, and I say this one time, it's like when you're hungry, everything looks edible.
Everything. And that's, you're not supposed to eat everything. And then when you do, you start looking at everybody else's plate. So I started seeing, oh, so-and-so is successful in this. Maybe I should try that. Because now I'm hungry. I'm starving. And so I'm like, oh, so-and-so look like she's doing good in this. Let me do that. Let me try this. So now I'm all in everybody else's vision but my own. And I'm eating off of everybody else's plate, except the one that I know how to create. And so with that, baby, I had an allergic reaction. It was called broke. It was called broke. It was called your kids is moving in with your mama. It was yes. It was called
time for a change.
It was time for a change. Absolutely.
I love that. I love that moment of, okay, it's not working. So let me lay my pride down. Mm-hmm. Let me reassess. Let me humble myself. Mm-hmm. Let me go ahead and go back to the drawing board. Let me look at what am I not doing? You know, what's missing, because I have the talent, I have the skill set, and that is, I see it all, or people that were very successful at one time, and now they try to do those same activities and not getting the same results because things have changed culturally. So a lot of times marketing is simply finding a fresh perspective, a new way to lead people to the same old thing that they need. You know what I mean? It really is. There's nothing new under the sun. No. And so a lot of times it's just a matter of figuring out, okay, so what part of what I offer is what they need, and how do I, in my language, approach them so that they understand that they need this, you know? Exactly. So talk to us about the big ask. Talk to us about this book and how you came out. Yes, we got to give that away. I need you guys to share right now on Facebook. Somebody's going to get a book. I'm definitely going to make sure I bless someone that's online today with a copy of The Big Ask. I want you guys to share. We need to get these numbers up on Facebook so that we can give this book away. So tell us about The Big Ask and why entrepreneurs need this in their life.
So entrepreneurs need the big ask, because I believe that entrepreneurs at some point, they begin to settle in what is given, and they're not asking for what they deserve and desire. Once you know as an entrepreneur that you deserve and you desire certain things, it is okay. So you have to be willing to remove the guilt, the pride, the ego, and just ask. Because sometimes entrepreneurs don't want people to know that they need things, or they're lacking things, or they're missing things. But let me tell you, asking will get you in the door. Asking will not only get you a seat at the table, but guess what? You'll be the one eventually creating the table that everyone is sitting at. And so, one of the keys that I share in here is getting your ask together. A lot of entrepreneurs don't have their ask together. You ask them, what do you see yourself? What do you want for your business? What do you want for your life? They'll take you through a whole story. Well, when I was 7, my uncle cousin's dog passed, and then I decided to know, so get your ask together. What is it that you want? Why are we fearful from asking? If you serve the same God that I serve, then that means he created us both. And so I have no more power than you do. It's just the power of the ask. So open up yourself to ask. The other key, and it's the last one that I'll leave with entrepreneurs, is don't let an ask hole, HOLE, control you. Don't let an ask hole, HOLE, control you. Those type of entrepreneurs, we deal with this all the time. People want to ask us for stuff. They don't want to do the work. They ask us for stuff. They don't want to show up. They ask us for stuff, and then we just give, but we're pouring into a hole, and it's not planting any seeds. And so don't let an ask hole control you to where you are now being a part of their agenda, to where you're missing out on your own situation, your own growth, your own life, your own business development. So it's just time for us to get our ask together, get that big ask in order. The big ask has put me in places that I could not have asked. I had no publicist, no agent, and of course I would love one, right? But it's gotten me into the doors with major magazines and on TV and sitting at seats that I couldn't even imagine. And I mean, it's opened up financial doors for me. Like, it's unbelievable. So this is a guide filled with 21 keys, and you just take this guide and you figure it out, and you say, listen, what am I focusing on today?
What
I
was
just
one of
love
the
you. I love your energy. You just like,
because it's so true. What was one of the I'm thinking about times where I had, you know, the boldness to say, I want that. I want to be in that space. I want to be at that rooftop. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna find out. That's how I live my day. Like literally, I'm like, all right, God. So what? Like that's how I start my day. Literally, it's a what. It's what you want me to do, what you want me to say, what you want me. So what's next? And so I'm not afraid to ask because I don't care if you say no. Someone else is going to say yes. So I'm just waiting to get to that yes. You know, and literally. That's where I'm at, and you see doors open. That's why that confidence piece, the Bible talks about cast not away your confidence because it has a great recompense of reward. If you do not have the confidence to ask, then you are not going to receive. You're literally not preparing for what you're praying for. So at the end of the day, you have got to work on your confidence. You have got to work on what's coming out of your mouth and your demeanor that says, I deserve what I'm asking for. Now that piece. So what was one of the asks where you were like, oh, they say yeah? You know, you ever had that moment where you asked something like,
you like,
yep. Like, I'm just saying, you're like, oh, shoot, okay.
Absolutely. So I recall one time I took my mentee with me downtown. This was before I was even in Essence. And I said, listen, we're going down to the Essence building. She's like, really? So we had our lunch meeting. We sat, we did our strategy. And I said, you know what? Essence is around the corner. We're going in there. She's like, really? I said, yeah, we're going in there. So we get to the building. We parking was right in front of the building. You rarely find that in the city. And I said, all right, let's walk in here. We walking in here like we belong here. Got it? She was like, okay. So that was number one, the whole attitude shift. Two, we get there, the security guard is like, which floor are you going to? I said, we're going to Essence. And he said, okay, do you have an appointment? I said, yes, I do. He said, okay, let me look down. I don't see it. I said, yeah, I have an appointment. Here, you want my ID? You need her ID too, so you can check us in. He said, okay, no problem. He said, no, you know what floor you're going to? I said, yes, I do. He said, okay, no problem. So then we started walking, and I said, what's the floor? As I'm going to the elevator, I said, what's the floor again? Is it 16 or 8? I'm just bluffing, right? I'm in my ask mode, right? So I said 16 or 8. He was like, it's 12. I was like, thank you. I knew it was something. Get there, get upstairs. Now, before that, I've been asking one of the writers to look at my book, because they do a book review. So this is my first book. And I said, listen, I want you to look at my book. Can you look at my book? He kept saying, sure. We'll get to it. We'll meet up. So now I set the meeting. So I get up there and I see the secretary, and I say, excuse me, is so-and-so in? She's like, yeah, you have an appointment? I said, absolutely. She said, okay, well, I'll tell so-and-so to come. So he comes out, he comes down the hallway, he's looking, and they see so many people, so they don't know, but I'm looking the par, baby, face beat, looking all nice. I got my book package all crazy. It was a small book, but I got the package looking like it's some type of gold inside of it. So I said, hey, how are you? So he's looking like, I'm not sure if I know her. I said, what's going on? I'm like, what's going on? And so I meet him, and then I say, you know, is so-and-so here as well? So I did my due diligence as well. I wanted to know who was the decision makers in the space. He said, oh, she's not here. I said, well, give her a copy of the book. Let her know that I came by. I know she was expecting me, but I just wanted to meet up with you. We had a great conversation. Don't you know that next year? It wasn't even. So that year, my book was mentioned in Essence, had a nice feature in Essence. But the following year after that, your girl was in a full spread. But what I needed to do spiritually was have my feet touch the grounds of Essence. That's all. I needed my feet to get in there because it was no one who's going to open the door for me. So I said, I'm going to go in there and open the door. I'm opening up the door.
Wait a second. Listen, wait a minute now. Because you have to talk about that principle. You have to talk about that principle. You have to talk about how you can envision something, but then you have to take that step to like be in that space. You know, the whole reason for us going to Europe last year is because I know God said CEO Chicks is going to be in Europe. So we went last year just to be in the space and just to kind of envision it like and live it and say, this is where I'm supposed to be. We're doing a meeting here. We're having a live event here, even though we were just there to tour and to visit and to have a great time and experience my 40th. Talk about that principle.
Yes, it is important for you. Your faith has to be in action. You have to touch the ground. I don't care if it's the building. There's a building now. I already went and touched it. We prayed. I touched the building. I said, oh man, the name is going to go up here. But it was important for me to walk in that building, walk in there with boldness and confidence. Know I belong, and then walk up on Essence floor. Walk all up in it, shake the hands with the people, just to be in the space. And that was setting myself up for what was to come. And now they have sponsored events. We are plugged in. We like besties. Hey, Essence, what's up? But it took me to step out on faith. And literally, it's biblical. Where your feet tread upon, where your feet tread upon.
So yes.
Blessed. And so we have to own that. And so as I'm walking up and down those grounds, you don't think I was calling things for it. Absolutely. So it's important for us to not only say it. We got to be in a season where we see what we say. And in order to see what we say, we have to believe it. And what belief looks like, that's up to you. How can you prove that you believe this thing? I had to show God, listen, I'm serious about this thing. It may be small to some, but this means a lot for my faith and my confidence build up. And so when I walked in there, it was on, and I already it wasn't even just about the book. It was just about the relationship, the growth. And sometimes you got to test your faith out to see how can you start manifesting things. Yeah. And that was just one of them. But I do that all the time. Before I drove my Mercedes truck, I was all up in Mercedes Benz like this. Yeah. Let me get the keychain. Yeah. Let me sit down and get a cup of coffee. Let me feel the cars. Let me do a test drive, because I needed to prepare myself financially. What does it take to drive one of these bad boys? What does it feel like? What gas do they take? I had to go from, and whatever car anybody drives is fine. I'm just saying on my level, I was just like, listen, I need something with automatic, this, heated seats. But you call those things forth as if they were.
Yes, you call those things that be not as though they were. Yes, get the word, girl. Get the word. I love it, because I'm like, this is how we truly live. Like, this is what it looks like. You know what I mean? So now at first I'm dreaming about it. I'm talking about it. And now how do I activate it? And then going from activation, how do I go into domination? You know what I mean? What are those phases? What does that look like? You know what I mean? To do it repetitively, and then to be able to say, for me, we got into this little debate about what it means to dominate. And we had a young lady comment on one of the posts. She said something with a negative connotation. She was like, why in the world would women want to dominate each other? And so my response to her was, since Genesis, you were born to have dominion. And to me, to dominate is more of a domino effect. So what you just did was demonstrate, and you going to Essence with a mentee who's probably looking at you through the side eye like, my coach is crazy. Yeah. She's about to walk in here without an appointment. She says she got an appointment. She did make contact. So it's not like you just, kind of making something up. You did have a name. You did have some premise to walk on. But, now you demonstrated to her what that would look like. You know what I mean? Now, granted, it might not work out that way for everybody, but I think it's that boldness. It's like, listen, this is the boldness. This is the tenacity that is needed for you to go after what it is you say you want. Like, let's talk about that for a second. You say you want it. So how bad do you want it? Are you preparing for it? That's Number right. 2, what are you focused on? I think that is the biggest thing. We focus so much on what we do not want. And do you know, if you focus on what you do not want, you still get what you do not want?
That's right.
That the energy is going to flow towards what you focus on, that you're going to continue to walk towards whatever you are looking at, whatever you are speaking. And so if you're saying, oh, I don't want to be fat, oh, I don't want to be broke, oh, I don't want to be, no, you got to get specific with your dream. Right. I'm going to be healthy, so I'm going to start boxing. And once I start boxing, I'm going to learn how to get to da-da-da-da. So you be specific with your goals. Her goal was to be in Essence. So she was right there. I'm going to go to Essence. You know what I mean? We got to get very specific with what it is we say that we want. So
and do the work. Stop coming empty-handed. I didn't go there saying, well, what I'm about to write a book, or I did the work years before I stepped ground there. We got to understand, when we already have sowed the seeds, sometimes it's just time for you to reap. This year is, and I claim it like every so often, every other years I'll go through it and I say this, but this is the collecting year. When you know that you've done the work, why are we still sitting back knowing that you planted seeds and there's a whole harvest for you to get? So I did the work. So I was like, I'm showing up to collect. I need to be featured here. But that was my focus. Going back to what you said, I said my main focus for this year, for that year, when things started popping off media-wise, my main focus for my business was to tap into media. And so, listen, I'm with you on this. We about to run around the church.
Yeah, because it's so good to see. It might take time, but the harvest it's inevitable. It's going to come because, literally the last thing to show up on a tree is the fruit.
That's it.
And just meditate on that for a second. You might be frustrated right now. You're doing all this work. You feel like you're not seeing the fruit. You're investing. You're speaking it. Anytime doubt comes in, the best thing you can do is just be quiet, and don't start complaining, because you don't want to start speaking against the things that you have been pushing towards. So then you reset. Some days you just got to reset. You just got to get up and you just got to reset. You got to reset your mind. You got to reset your words, get your language in order. Make sure people around you are saying the same things and pushing you in the direction in which you're called to go. And when you're doing that, it's only a matter of time. The last thing to show up on a tree is the fruit. So take a moment and say that, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, and being confident and consistent is that's what it's all about. Confident and consistent. And you have to be your number one supporter. You have to be your number one investor. When I was doing this last event, and I was like, okay, we up in the 20,000s for this one, Lord. All right now. All right, Jesus. And instead of freaking out about it, instead, I did the things I knew to do, but people are like, we need an investor. I said, Lord, I'll be the investor. Mm-hmm. I'll invest in it. That's fine. Yeah. And literally the next day, and I think that's when we spoke. Remember, we were on the phone. I was like, listen, this girl just called me, paid in full for a branding package. She gave the exact amount that I needed to put on the hotel. She gave the exact amount that I needed. Listen, I will invest it. Hallelujah.
Come on now. Come on.
I don't have to look for no other person. If he gonna do it out there, that's fine. I'm not limiting that, but I'll be that girl too. I'll invest. Right. I'll be the investor. Right. And when people see that you are pouring into your vision and that you are starting to see fruit, they're like, how can I join? How can I be a part? What can I do? You have to be your number one supporter. You got to be the one believing in the dream.
That's it. That's it. Facts.
Facts. Girl.
Facts.
Woo! Fire.
Facts.
Fire. So, all right, what's next? I know we talking about that. We're going to have to figure out what we're doing, but what's next for you, girl? What you got going on? I know you've been touring. Your birthday this week.
Ooh,
happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes. So I turned 42 tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. It was so cute. My husband brought me 2 cakes. One cake had 21, the other cake had 21. So I said, this is so cool. So cool. But for me, just continuing to do the book tour and sharing, it's a lot of speaking engagements that I have coming up, and the training. I'm doing a lot of training on the side, and also training up a team to handle a lot what's going on with the non-for-profit. And so we will, be opening up our location this year by the fall. So I'm excited about that for our building. So this is going to be huge for our co-working space for re-entry women. So they have a place to go to become entrepreneurs. And so, we definitely need you down here to do some training, but it's a lot. It's, some TV stuff coming in the works as well. So it's a lot of great things. Once again, these were seeds that were planted. What I love that you shared is that the last thing to show up is the fruit. And entrepreneurs, don't forget, once you grab the fruit is from the seeds that you planted. Know that there's another seed that comes after that fruit. And so now when it's time to give, you can give from the seeds after your fruit, after you have cleared your basket of fruit. There's seeds that came, and that's what you can give forth to others. Some of us, we be taking the fruit from our own trees and dispersing it out to everyone, and now you don't have any. No, there's seeds for you to there's seeds for you to reinvest. There's seeds for you to give out. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited about 2019 and beyond. And my son is going to college, so that's taking up a whole nother mental space of mine. So I'm like, and he's like the mama's boy. That's my heart. So we're working on that. Yep.
It's a process. My son's in college right now. It's such a process. He was here this weekend on spring break and just watching him grow and his conversation and things he's learned. I just love it. I absolutely I do. It's necessary. And so what a difference, can you imagine, like, I was having a conversation, I had a call with our UK ambassador this morning, Princess Keisha, and we were discussing I couldn't imagine living life without that type of intuition, you're able to recognize, like, okay, this child needs this, or this child, this is this child's strength and this is this child's weakness, and so how can we build around it? And to have these type of conversations that allow you to be aware and allow them to be aware, and still say we all have areas that are this, or we all are this. How do you, and to have those type of conversations? My parents did not have those type of conversations. Right. It was just work, pay bills, go to school, get an A, go to college. And I'm the only one that didn't go to college. And I'm the youngest. And I've had the greatest impact when it came to by just doing what I felt as an entrepreneur, even though I was the youngest. It's like, and so literally my sisters look at me and they're like, I don't know what cloth you cut out of, but boy.
Right.
It really is a God thing.
It is.
I cannot imagine not being able to hear. I cannot imagine not having access to his presence. I could not imagine hearing. Don't go right, baby, go left, when everybody else said. I could not imagine not having that place, because that what you're talking about is it's a spiritual principle that if we're not careful, we will live out our dreams according to other people's words. Right. We will compare to what we see on Instagram and just pick up as we see going, versus narrowing in on what's in us. We'll just start to grab what looks shiny, like, ooh, instead of being like, let me shine what's in here. I know it's dull right now. I know it's a little trying to figure it out, but
that's right.
That. So I just thank you for sharing, and I'm excited about what you're doing. Jen, who's our winner? I hope you guys on Facebook are dropping. Listen, if you're not on fire right now, I'm gonna say what they say. Your wood is wet. If you're not on fire right now, so I need you to really write down, what are your takeaways? What are those things? Because you're going to get this book. I'm going to make sure I get you a copy of The Big Ask shipped over to you. And we're going to dive into this book. And definitely, you're going to see us do some more things together. We're so excited about Activate and looking at what does that look like. We want to just really see our communities changed. And again, it's a domino effect. We can all win. We're not here to compete. We are here to eat. And so whatever you have, whatever gift and talent you have, bring it to the table, sharpen it, master it. Let's see how you can compliment another sister. What areas, why are we all trying to dominate the same block? What country are we going to? Get your passport in order. Let's go.
I love that. Yep. I love it. I just love everything about it. They haven't seen nothing yet. Wait to activate and dominate. And for those who even have any questions about activation or domination, it's a spiritual thing. These are spiritual success tools. It's not even towards another individual. It's a spiritual thing. So when we're talking about dominating, we talk about dominating past those fears and doubts, dominating more of the faith side of you, dominating more of that ambitious person inside, dominating more of those gifts and talents. We're not talking about Tina and Felicia. We're talking about dominating, taking over dominion, meaning that in this space, There's no such thing as living only up until your potential. In this space, there's no such thing as lack and limits. In this space, there's no such thing as fears and doubts and uncertainty. We done dominated this thing by activating first. So we had to activate within to get ourselves together, then to look and say, all right, we taking over.
And then you attract it. It's just literally fall in line. And I'm seeing some incredible things I can't even share. I'm just like, oh my, okay, yeah, all right, sure. yes. So thank you so much. Jen, let me know who our winner is, and absolutely anybody can win. We'll let them know online. I don't want to take up too much of our time here. We're at 12:51. Where can people contact you, Lucinda? Where can they reach out and get more about Activate, your group, and what you got going on next, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so they can go to lucindacross.com, lucindacross.com, connect with me there. Instagram is my favorite place to hang out and chill. No offense, Facebook, but I just love Instagram. I just love the way it operates, so free. So follow me there on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, we have a free group called the Activate Inner Circle. Join us there just to get, we share resources, we share casting calls, we share speaking events, we share sponsorships. So if you are looking just for support, in like an entrepreneurial library setting where you can get fed, head on over to our free group at Activate Inner Circle.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We have a winner. Her name is Tamika Davis.
Tamika
Davis, where is she from? Let's see here. Tamika Davis is our winner. I'm curious to know what her takeaway was. I don't know how soon Jen could get that over to me. Let's see. She's sending it over now. So thank you, Tamika Davis, for being on with us live. You're going to get your big ask. And so we'll make sure you have that shipped over to you. We're going on tour in April. So we kick off, I'll give you guys those dates real quick. We'll be in DC on the 4th. I will be there with amazing Kim Lee. Our regional director, Jennifer Enders, will be with us on April 4th. Orlando, we're going to be back here at Lake Nona Country Club on the 11th, Myrtle Beach on the 13th at California Dreaming Restaurant with Coach Donna. And of course, the UK, we're doing just a soft launch meetup there with Princess Keisha. Coach Shelley's going to be joining me there from Orlando. We'll be in the UK in London on the 27th, and we're getting those details together for you. And then Chicago, Jen, same day, the 27th at 10:30 with our regional director, Coach Jennifer. So we moving, y'all. It's Dominion time. We're in that space. We cracked that thing wide open, and that's where we're going. Our brand ambassador, Sierra Lawan Range, will be with us in Orlando. And so we're going to keep this thing moving. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll go ahead and get Tamika Davis information for you, Lucinda, and we'll go over that book. Any last words, sis?
Listen, just get your ask together, ladies. Let's get it get your ask together. Listen, I want that to be embedded in their mind all week.
I love it, and it will be. And I'll make sure I remind them. Get your ASK together.
That's right. That's right.
What do you want? What do you want? All right. Yeah. Thanks for being on. Have a productive day. We'll talk some more, and we'll go from there. God bless you guys. Thanks for being on.